I'm excited to have Priyanka Vergadia, a customer engineer at Google Cloud, here with me to show us how to set up service level monitoring in Stackdriver. Hi, Priyanka.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Google has published our practices for managing reliable services at scale in site reliability engineering books and this SRE workbook. One of the main principles of SRE is using service level objectives. Can you show us how developers can do the same?
Yeah, let's dive right in and let me show it through a demo.
Okay, great.
Perfect. So I have this website here that is built to order some stuff, and so I'm going to put something in the cart, and it's an e-commerce website, so it lets you order things and then it places an order. So I have my credit card information in there, and we just placed an order. Now, behind the scenes, there's a lot going on in this particular application. So if we look at what's going on here, this is the service architecture of the application, and it has a front end, it has various different services talking to the front end, the checkout, the catalog, the product catalog, the cart service. There's a lot that's going on here. And if you see further, they're pretty much all written in very different languages as well. So there's a lot of complexity behind the scenes that's going on. And this is all done through microservices, as you can see. So it's important to understand that a simple website is set up can be set up with different services in the back end and have different languages that it can be written in. So complexities.
Right, and microservice architectures mean the app itself is broken into many small pieces. And doesn't that make it hard to understand how all the pieces fit together and where to start investigating when there is a problem?
It becomes very hard for the operations team, especially in microservices architecture, to figure out what's going on, which services is up, down, talking to each other. So there's a good tool in Stackdriver monitoring called Topology, where you can actually look at the topology of your different microservices talking to each other. So I have it open here, and when you open the service topology, I can look at a specific service that I'm interested in and then see which other services it is talking to. So it gives me a view. I can click on one and it gives me a view of what's going on and which services it is talking to, which is pretty helpful when you're working in an environment that has so many different microservices that it's talking to.
Wow, and this is great because with microservice-based apps, you can clearly see the inter-service dependencies and use that to double-check new code rollouts.
Yeah.
But let's say you're setting up alerts. Ops staff can burn out a lot of the times from getting notified of all the potential causes of a problem, making it hard to align SREs with customer interests. How can we identify which behaviors really actually matter for that service during service degradation?
Yeah, so there is also another tool within Stackdriver monitoring for services where you can actually set up SLOs and define your SLOs for the services, so operations does not actually get affected by just looking at all the different alerts that can come by. It's actually a practice within our SRE teams where we make sure that our SRE staff is only monitoring alerts that are related to customer issues and front-end customer-related issues, and not every single issue that might be a cause to those issues. So let's see that in the demo as well.
Great.
Yeah. So if we click on services here in the Stackdriver monitoring, let's look at front-end, and when we go do that, you're able to see the service level optimization. So let me click on SLOs. And in SLOs, you obviously see nothing here. So we're going to set one up and say we want to set up for availability. And then there is, we can do it rolling or calendar. I want to say in the month, if we reach 99%, or low availability, then I want to get alerted. That's a good way of saying that you're not going to be alerted for everything, but you still want to be alerted for when we go less than 99%. And then you can also set up a latency alert. So in this case, if we say latency, and I may want to set up differently for different services. For the front end, you could say my pages should load in less than 1,000 milliseconds. Otherwise, I want to be notified. And in this case also, let's say it's 90% our goal, and then we submit that. So these are the two alerts that we just set up for latency and availability And they are not just thresholds because we are saying this percentile. So it's not going to be chatty and noisy. It's going to be, if this happens, then we really want to get notified because the service is not working fine. So that's a good way of identifying, making sure that you're not burning out your operations staff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How do you follow those best practices given the resources that you have?
Yeah, so you also have metrics and diagnostics in there. So if you click on metrics, you're able to see the request counts and the response latencies, which will guide you through the request and response. And if you click on diagnostics, that actually takes you to the trace. So now if I want to drill deeper into the 95th percentile, which is probably the one I want to look at because it's not performing very well, then I can click on that and see a specific request, why it was slow, for what reasons, and which requests were actually slow. So in this case, we can see that the checkout service was a little bit slow in send and receive, so we may want to drill deeper into that and find out what's going on there. So the diagnostics tab and the metrics tab are really good friends for troubleshooting.
Great. And at some point, you probably need to dig a little deeper into the service's signals. Let's say maybe you received an SLO alert and there's no obvious upstream cause, or you have a customer complaint outside of an SLO alert that you need to investigate, or maybe you need to see how the new rollout of your code version is going. How do you get a coherent display of all the signals for a specific service?
Yeah, so I think the best thing to do at that point is you got an alert through SLO, you want to look at metrics and diagnostics to kind of figure out what's going on, because metrics and diagnostics are going to be helpful to understand which specific service is not performing well. As you can see in diagnostics, when we drilled deeper into a specific service, we were able to find out that checkout is the culprit, and so we can drill deeper into that. So those metrics and diagnostics would be your great friends in order to find out what's actually going on.
Great. So Stackdriver Service Monitoring gives you a whole new way to view your application architecture, reason about its customer-facing behaviors, and get to the root of any problem that arises. So thank you so much, Priyanka, for showing us how Google is transforming the ops experience of cloud native and microservice deployments.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.